It was not until I was around 30 when God entered my life. So
wow,
that's.
So how did that happen? Was it the arguments that convinced you, or was it something?
No, that's the funny thing. The arguments. I started reading about the arguments for Christianity after I became a Christian. So in my case, God still can use them to open people's eyes. As I'm just saying, in my case, it was the Bible. Kind of a funny story. And I'll tell it the brief version. I was on vacation in Rome, and I had just finished giving an art history tour. So I love science, I love art, and I used to be a teacher. So in the summers, I organized this tour of Italy to the art. And I was in my hotel room in Rome and had just finished a book that I'd been working on for a while. And I realized I didn't have anything else to read. And I'm just a reader. I love having something to read all the time. So guess what was in the side table of my hotel room? The Bible. Yeah. One of the Gideon's Bibles. And the cool thing about this Bible, I don't think I would have read it otherwise.
Is it Rome? Yeah.
It was in English, Italian, French, and German. And I'd already studied all of those languages. I mean, my Italian was pretty good because I spent a year in Italy when I was in college, my junior year of Stanford. So I thought, wow, what a great way to refresh my Italian. So I started reading in Italian, and then I started flipping over to English to figure out what it meant. And then I started reading only in English. And then by that time, my friend and I had gotten to the south of France. And I was actually on the south of France laying topless on the beach reading the Bible. I thought. So I wanted to fit
Genesis in the Garden of Eden?
Yeah. I wanted to fit in on the south of France, so going topless. But the Bible really made me stick out like a sore thumb. But anyway, after reading it, that's when
That's hilarious that being naked doesn't make you stand out in France.
Yeah, it's the Bible.
Reading the Bible is what makes
reading the Bible on the beach was definitely a sign that it was not one of them. But yeah, so it was kind of a funny story that God took something that I love, that is languages, to make me be willing to read the Bible. And then I ended up not even reading it in Italian.
So you're reading in like the New Testament? You just started off on
It was just the New Testament. Yeah. Yeah, I think, I love reading the Bible, of course, now. But previous to that, my dad had been a Christian since I was 2.
Okay.
So he always wanted me to read the Bible. And I even went to a Christian school, but it was all like, eye roll. Why do we care about a group of people wandering around a desert? Didn't make any sense to me. So I'd always started to read the Bible in Genesis, which is actually pretty interesting. But then you get to Exodus and Leviticus, and you're like, oh, this I don't really want to do. So you give up.
Crazy, yeah.
But if anybody hasn't read the Bible before, I recommend starting in the New Testament. You don't have to start at the very, very beginning. Especially the Gospels. It's just amazing. And hearing words of Jesus is sufficient, I think, for God to really work in you.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I always wondered. Someone says, I just picked up the Bible and that's how I got saved. I'm like, well, there's certain parts of the Bible that if you read, you would...
Right.
Might not happen.
You might be like, what are people thinking about?
Or maybe grossed out.
Yeah. Well, that's I think the brilliance. Well, of course, God is brilliant, but he is perfectly wise.
Right.
And he created a book that allows someone who doesn't want to believe to not believe. You know what I mean? It's like you have to truly want to understand the Bible to get to those layers of meaning where you see like, for example, the sacrifice of Isaac. How horrible is that? Like God asking a man to kill his own son? That's just horrible. And that would be enough for me to say, forget Christianity. I don't want to have anything to do with that. But once you want to understand what God is telling you, it is the most beautiful story.